وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Welcome everybody from around the world. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem, and this is the BAK Show, where we discuss the things which are important to you. Of course, I am your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem, and we are coming at you live. Brothers and sisters, we have a lot to talk about here today. Firstly and foremostly, we're going to talk about Syria. Now, we're going to be taking your questions, your comments, and your concerns. So please feel free to send in your questions, and we'll try to answer them if we can. If we can't, then we'll come back again next week or something along those lines, or whatever we can do to get you the answer that you want to your question. And we also take your comments as well. But first, before we get started, I did want to impress upon you something, a project that we're working on here. I want you to take a look at our crowdfunding page, which is medina.com/voices of truth. What's going on at Voices of Truth? Well, at Voices of Truth, we're compiling an extensive list of the crimes which the Assad family perpetrated against the people. But how are we doing it? We're doing it by interviewing those people who are most affected by the criminality and the brutality of Bashar al-Assad. Now, why? People might be saying, why are you doing that, Bilal? The revolution was successful and it's over. Well, in order to not repeat your history, you've got to, in order to not to repeat, for history to repeat itself, you really have to understand the history, what happened, and not allow people to come, as they tried to do with Muammar Gaddafi now, and say Muammar Gaddafi was a good guy. Oh, it was just NATO that was messing around and making trouble. They had no idea the type of oppression that was needed upon the Libyan people. We want to make sure that that does not happen here in Syria. I want you to take a very brief look at one of the videos that we're working on, because like I said, we're getting the testimony directly from the lips of the people. And take a look at this video. This man had his sons arrested, ages 20 and 14. Take a look at what he had to say about it. مع الأسف لديك تاريخ طويل، النظام كان يضغط على أسرتك.
نعم.
هل من الممكن أن تخبرنا في 2012 شو صار، ومن وجه نظرك كيف مشى الأمور؟
الأمور أكثر يعني ألعن الأمور أصعب شيء، واعتقالات وقتل. ولدي هذا باسل سيد الحميد اعتقلوه من كرم الزيتون. بعد ما طلعنا اعتقلوه.
ومن باسل؟
باسل ابني، واعتقل نضال كمان، باسل انوب نضال الحميد ابني، احنا الاثنين. وسمعنا انهم بصيد نايه.
كم عمرهم؟
باسل عمره 14 سنه ونضال عمره 21 سنه. نعم.
14 سنه كان عمره.
14 باسل ونضال 20 سنه.
وما كانت تهمه؟
تهمه ارهابيه، ارهاب. وقال اني انا قتلت انا نسوان من اخواننا العلويه وغيره، وقتلت اطفال، ولا قاتل هو، لا قتل لا اطفال ولا غيره. لا يوجد عنده سلاح ولا يوجد عنده شيء. الله وكيلك شيخ.
This is just one of the stories, and that story continues, and we tried to show as much evidence as we possibly could, including the ID card, the national ID card, as well as the family book, so that the age of Basil was very clear to the people. He was only 14 years old. He was arrested by the regime and he was executed at 14 years old. No trial. No one knew anything of a lawyer or anything of this nature. He was just arrested and never heard from again. These are the type of stories that we're trying to bring to you, brothers and sisters. So please take a look at our crowdfunding page. That's on medina.com/voices of truth. please, if you can donate $10, $100, $1,000, it would help us to get all around the country. It's a project in which I am heading, and I hope that you're going to help us out. Okay, everybody, let's get back to where we are. Now, first issue here is this one right here. We've got this man, Abu Muhammad Jolani. Abu Muhammad Jolani is in a good mood today, and he has reason to be because he was officially removed from the U.S. global terrorist list. This is the statement which was put forward by Marco Rubio, who is the Secretary of State for the United States of America, and it is as follows. Revocation of foreign terrorist organization designation of Al-Nusra Front, also known as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. In consultation with the Attorney General and the Secretary of Treasury, I hereby revoke the designation of Al-Nusra Front, also known as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and other aliases, as a foreign terrorist organization pursuant to Section 219, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. It is, the revocation goes into effect upon publication, and it's been published, it's official. The Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, Jabhat al-Nusra, these groups are no longer considered to be terrorist leaders or terrorist members, or the group is no longer known as a terrorist group or entity. All right, brothers and sisters. Now, look, firstly, let me just make something clear, my position regarding Abu Muhammad Jolani and his removal. I never, ever thought that Abu Muhammad Jolani was a terrorist. I differ with him on many issues, most of them Islamic, but I differ with him on many things, but I want to keep it real. I never thought that Abu Muhammad Jolani was a terrorist, and this has got to show you something. That these terror designations are nothing more than a means of control. That's something that people have got to understand. They do not put people, for the most part, on a terrorist list because they're actually terrorists. They put them on a terrorist list as a way so that they can arrest them, freeze their assets. Why? Because they oppose someone whom the United States endorses. For example, Hamas. Hamas is on the U.S. designated terrorist list. Okay, but the ones who are committing the genocide are not. In actuality, the leader who has been indicted by the ICC for crimes related to genocide, I'm talking about Benjamin Netanyahu, he was sitting right next to Donald Trump today, sitting right next to him. And you're telling me that Hamas, a group that is resisting occupation, whatever their methods are, we're not going to discuss right now. We could discuss it, but we're not discussing it right now. But whatever it is, they're resisting occupation, and they're on the list. But those who are occupying them and committing a genocide by so many different international organizations, including courts and such like that, they get a meeting at the White House with the president. That's Benjamin Netanyahu. So brothers and sisters, never ever in the future, again, take terror designations seriously, because they're not. It's only a means of control for people whom the government does not like. So don't fall into the trap of thinking, well, if they put them on the terror designation list, there must be a reason for it. Yeah, there is a reason for it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are terrorists. Now, of course, I'm sure there are some people that are on there who've done things that they shouldn't be doing. But the reality of the situation is that the joke is on you, and it's time for us to get out from underneath being made fools out of. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. All right, brothers and sisters, let's take a look and see what's important to you. Let's see what we've got here. We've got Milad Privy, who says, Assalamu alaikum from Irani. All right, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good to have you. Very good to have you. A lot of people don't realize that there are a lot of Sunni Muslims that are in Iran. And I think that that's something that we need to bring out. Let's take a look. Okay, we have here He says, is Jolani a normal Sunni, Ash'ari, or strict Salafi, or follower of Muhammad Muhammad Abdul Wahhab? Well, my experience with Jolani and seeing him evolve throughout the years, I couldn't tell you what he is. I know he's not Shia, or at least he hasn't displayed that. I feel that he's not Sufi. He hasn't displayed that. Is he Salafi? He doesn't seem to give much credence to that which the Salaf were upon. So I don't know if I could say that he's Salafi. I don't know if he's Ash'ari, or if he is a follower of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. He seems to be much more of a pragmatist than an Islamist, based upon the actions in which he has put forward, the way he runs his prisons, the lack of justice, the torture of Muslims. I can't attribute that to someone on the methodology of the Salaf, because the Salaf didn't do that. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab didn't call to that. And once again, I don't have any evidence that he is Shi'i or Sufi. I have no evidence of that. I don't believe that. And Allah knows best. That's the best that I can answer your question. Daniel Lippner says, I love you. I love you for the sake of one whom you love me for. And keep up the work. Inshallah, we will. Keep making dua for us. We could really use it. Okay. Let's take a look and see. Okay. Milad Privy says that a second kind of ISIS might emerge, but this time wearing a suit. I'm not claiming this is the case, and I'm not saying it is like that. I'm just asking you the question because you have knowledge. I don't see that he is on what ISIS was on. ISIS was a killing machine, a takfir machine, and I don't see him being like that. He hasn't been that way, because I want to be fair to him. So no, I don't see him as excommunicating large parts of the Muslim Ummah from Islam. As I said, I see him more as a pragmatist than an Islamist. I've seen, at least this is my opinion, for quite some time. We ask Allah to guide us and to guide him, to do the things that Allah loves. Now, because none of us are perfect, but I would tell you that I don't see him on the methodology of ISIS. No, I don't. Okay. Let's see. America and Israel do not have the right to designate Muslims in our region as terrorists when they're sponsored the most terror in modern history. And brother, let me give it to you straight. You're 100% right. The first issue is that why does that even matter? If you look at Afghanistan, the Taliban, they're still on the sanctions list, and they're saying that we don't care. And Donald Trump said, hey, you got some of our tanks and some of our military equipment. We want it back. And the Taliban was like, yeah, we'll come get it. That's the type of situation that after you fight 20 years and you win militarily, you can say. However, the situation here in Syria is a bit different. So those same type of statements don't carry the same weight. So I would say here is that what's supposed to be is that if they were on the terrorist list, they should say, or if they were working on for the sake of Allah and according to the Sharia of Islam, if the kuffar put you on a terrorist list, well, that's their business. And that's what the Taliban have basically said, and they're doing business with all types of different people. They're doing all kinds of trade in their own currency. They're building a dam, and a multi-billion-dollar dam, and they're also building roads so that they can connect different parts of the country so that all kinds of trade can grow inside the country, and all of that is while being on the sanctions list. So I would say you don't have to get off of the sanctions list as a prerequisite to have a country. So that should be borne in mind for any future Muslim rebels or such like that that might crop up. You don't have to sell the kitchen sink in order to have a country. You just have to have belief in Allah and hard work and dedicated people to support you. Nas94 said, if a Sharaa is accepted by Trump, I'm sure you can now freely travel back to the USA. I don't know. I didn't even think about it until you just mentioned it. I don't have any plans to travel back to the USA. I like living in a Muslim country. I've been living in a Muslim country since basically since 2002, except for a couple of months when I lived in South Africa, and that was a great experience. But there's nothing like living in a Muslim country. So I don't have any real interest in going back to America at this time. Now, okay, we've got Mr. Kurdi who's in the house. And he says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bilal, you look handsome as every day. Jazakallah khair. How do you think will the new Syrian government regulate support for Hamas in the future? No more open donation events. I don't think that it's only no more open donation events. But I think the situation is that they may even be hostile to Hamas because they are completely dependent upon America. And their moves since the fall of the country have positioned Syria in a situation where they're dependent on America. And I felt that that was a big mistake to make. But I'm not the president. That is his decision to make, not mine. But I don't agree with that. The United States of America, they are the enemies of Islam. And they are backing, bankrolling, and encouraging a genocide which is taking place just some kilometers away from Syria. So you can't be friends with the United States of America and Hamas. Now, based upon what we've seen so far, there hasn't seemed to be any type of outreach to Hamas. And so is there something going on under the table? In Islam, we have to take that which is apparent, and we don't see it right now. But we do see a lot of cozying up to the United States, the United Kingdom, and these are the enemies of Islam. These are the ones that up until now, after 2 years and so many tens of thousands of deaths of the Palestinians and a famine, a starvation which is taking place, you still can't get the US and the UK to admit that there's genocide going on, and they are still continuing to arm and to aid and assist the IDF in killing the Palestinians. On the real to real, how you can get up there and smile and shake hands with a man like that, I'm sure I have no idea. But then again, I'm not the president. Okay, HTS is a Saudi, UAE-backed Sunni armed group. Well, there's no more HTS now, so we're going to have to change our terminologies. There's the Syrian government. Now, if you're asking, is the Syrian government backed by Saudi and the UAE? The answer to that question is yes. The question is, when did they start? Did they start doing that after the fall of Bashar al-Assad? I would definitely say that it was, because it was the United Arab Emirates that just 2 months before the fall of Bashar al-Assad's government, they were trying to bring him back into the Arab League and give him back his legitimacy. So that didn't work out. So then they said, hey, you know what? We got to try something else. So I don't think that that was something that was taking place for years, but I do think that they were keen to jump on it once they saw that the Bashar al-Assad horse was a fail. Okay, Brother Bilal, have Baghdadi's gank operatives been more active since the fall of Bashar, or is it the same? I'm going to tell you what I have seen in the reports that I know of. It's the same. It hasn't changed. I mean, you have a lot of those who would benefit from, some analysts and such like that, oh, ISIS is on the rise and such like that. I have my ear to the ground here, and I'm here. And if ISIS was making those types of moves, believe me, we would have known about it. Even going through the deserts and such like that and all, where they are purported to have been hiding and such like that. We've been to Deir ez-Zor, we've been to Tedmor, we've been to these places. There's free-flowing traffic. I think that it's scaremongering because people are benefiting from that type of rhetoric. But do I think that ISIS is growing? I don't. I really don't. And I haven't seen it for a long time. Okay, is Mount Hermon also occupied by Israel along with the Golan Heights? Okay, Mount Hermon, also known in Arabic as Jebel Sheikh, is occupied by the IDF, or the Israeli Defense Forces. Now, they took up those positions just several days after the fall of Bashar al-Assad, when they was continuing to bomb the weapons facilities that the Syrian armed forces had to make sure that it doesn't fall into the hands of the new government. So yes, they are occupying it. It's a very strategic area. Why? Because it's the highest point in the entire area. It gives them the opportunity to spy into southern Syria. Yes, that also includes Damascus. And also they can spy into the areas of southern Lebanon and northern Israel. So it's a very strategic area, and it also guarantees water supply for the Israeli territories as well from the melting snow. And that's something that a lot of people aren't talking that much about. We'll probably talk more about that in the future. But yes, they are occupying Mount Hermon, and the statement from Benjamin Netanyahu at that time, and it continues to be, that they will be there indefinitely. Nas94 says, you were the first journalist to report on the kidnapping of Alan Henning. I remember that very well. Yeah, that was a sad time when the British aid worker, who was a Christian, Alan Henning, was abducted by ISIS forces and was subsequently executed. I knew about it because as soon as the people came in and their convoy came in, it was just maybe 2-3 kilometers from where I was. And so the information traveled quickly. We tried to do what we could, but ultimately it wasn't successful. Blue Suspect says, brother, is it safe to invest money in Syria right now? And if one wanted to buy property, how would that work as a foreigner? Is it safe to invest in Syria right now? It depends on what you would be investing in. If you were to invest in real estate, I would say that would probably be a relatively safe bet, depending on where it is. There are some brothers who are working on trying to advise different people of that. If you direct message me, I'll try to put you in contact with them, and they could give you a more educated answer than I could. Oh, he also went on to say, do not come to the U.S., brothers. This society is finished. I haven't been in America for quite some time. I'm not really excited to go back. So I'm happy where I am. So I think I'm going to be here for a while, inshallah. Alrighty. Let's take a look. Let's see. Okay. We've got here, I thought that Israel has been entering Syrian territory for a long time, taking over people's homes and settling there, and that the new Syrian president isn't doing anything about it, or not true. No, this is true. They have, Benjamin Netanyahu said back in March that he did not want any Syrian government troops on the southern border. There aren't any real presence of Syrian government troops. IDF forces have come all the way up to the town of Nela, which is 20 kilometers from the Israeli-Syrian border. 20 kilometers is a long way. And yes, they do continue to come in, sometimes making daily incursions, setting up checkpoints, raiding homes, and stealing cattle and such like that. So this is an ongoing situation, and we'll have to follow it up. But now, your assessment is basically correct. Okay. Salam, brother. Question. I just heard from Laith Maroof, analyst, that every day around 30 women are being kidnapped and or raped. He said the Julani death squads are doing it. Please comment. And could. Okay, and it cuts off there. Okay, the first thing is that I can't confirm that. I don't know that. I do know that there have been lots of abductions of Alawite women in the Latakia areas and such like that. But I can in no way, shape, form, or fashion attribute that to Abu Muhammad Jolani and his forces, Ahmad Sharaa. Once again, I want to be fair. I don't see what he would stand to gain by doing that. So I would probably say that that's not him. I'd probably maybe more than say it's probably not him. I'm relatively confident because he would have no interest in that. I'm not sure what would he gain by that. So yeah, I don't think that that's accurate, and Allah knows best. Okay, lots of Mujahideen fought for many years to free Syria. How are they viewing the current situation? Most of them are not happy. Just to be real, most of them are not happy. They fought because they were advertised that this was going to be a country that would be ruled by Sharia. That hasn't really materialized. I don't think that enough attention is being paid to those young brothers who sacrificed so much. I don't mean that they're being ignored in terms of nobody wants to talk to them or talk about them, but the Sharia, which was promised, it hasn't materialized as of yet. So no, they're not happy. I'm not going to pretend, okay? But you also have to understand that they fought for a certain thing, but large areas of the country, they didn't fight. And therefore, they're just happy to be rid of Bashar al-Assad. So they're happy with whatever is on the table right now. So I can't say that that sentiment from those who fought is shared by the rest of the country. It's definitely shared by a lot of the brothers who fought and sisters who made lots of sacrifices. But I can't say it's shared by the entire country because, like I said, large portions of the country, they actually didn't fight the regime, and they're just happy to be rid of Bashar al-Assad. Now, okay, let's see if we can take one more. Assalamu alaikum, akhi, wa alaikum salam. Can you drop your training program? You know what I might do is I just might film it, because I do it over the course of 5 days, and I just might film it and then post it. You know, on one day I do chest, one day I do biceps and triceps, another day I will do legs, another day I'll do shoulders, and another day I'll do back. But almost every day I do core exercises. No, not every day. But I'd say if I work out 5 days a week, I'll do core exercises 3 or 4 of those days. So that's a thumbnail sketch, but maybe I'll film it if you guys are interested in it. All right, everybody. Okay. All right. We're going to wrap this up. And but before we do, please, brothers and sisters, once again, I just want to call your attention. Please take a look at our crowdfunding page. That's medina.com/voices of truth. Medina.com/voices of truth. It's on your screen right here, right now. What we're doing is we are documenting the crimes of the Assad regime. We need your help. Take a look at this one story right here. It is a story that outlines that a 14-year-old boy was arrested and executed by the regime. Take a look at what his father said.
مع الأسف لديك تاريخ طويل. النظام كان يضغط على أسرتك.
نعم.
هل من الممكن أن تخبرنا في 2012 شو صار ومن وجه نظرك كيف مشى الأمور؟
الأمور أكثر يعني قال عن الأمور أصعب شيء، واعتقالات وقتل. ولدي هذا باسل سيد الحميد اعتقلوه من كرم الزيتون. بعد ما طلعنا اعتقلوه.
ومن باسل؟
باسل ابني. واعتقل نضال كمان، باسل انوب نضال الحميد ابني. احنا الاثنين. وسمعنا انهم بصيد نايه.
كم عمرهم؟
باسل عمره 14 سنه ونضال عمره 21 سنه. نعم.
14 سنه كان عمره.
14 باسل ونضال 20 سنه.
وما كانت تهمه؟
تهمه ارهابيه، ارهاب. وقال اني انا قتلت انا نسوان من اخواننا العلويه وغيره، وقتلت اطفال. ولا قاتل هو، لا قتل لا اطفال ولا غيره. لا يوجد عنده سلاح ولا يوجد عنده شيء. الله وكيلك شيخ.
That's just a piece of this one story. We are documenting many stories, and I'm heading this project. Please visit our crowdfunding page at medina.com/voices of truth. I am Bilal Abdul Kareem. Jazakum Allah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.